Happy Friday, everybody! Since today's theme is on World War II, Japanese occupation, which Japanese song shall I sing? I guess when I think about Japanese song, and the only one that I can sing isn't really a Japanese song, so here's a cheat. This is shout out to the Malaysians for a very talented singer that you have in your country. Ohio, Tokyo, konnichiwa, sumimasen, I'm foreigner. I don't speak Japanese, but I love Ayosora. When you say wakarimashita, I say Hitachi, Toyota, Kawasaki, Nintendo, Canon, Sony, Honda. I'm losing my way. Obasan, where should I go? Shinjuku so big, I need a Doraemon. You speak Japan English, show me body language. What can I do? Where should I go? No, 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 no.
Is anyone here? What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
Very good Friday evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Glad to be back here again. It's the one day I look out to because it's Friday, not because it's the end of the week. There's no end of the week for me. There's no weekends, weekdays, holidays, none of such things. But Friday is a great day because I get to hang out with you guys. It's pretty much the only kind of socializing I do these days. And either that or speaking to confessors, talking to people, everything revolving around spirituality or hantu. I'm kind of that kind of geek that it's so involved in what he loves to do that he has gone vertical in it almost entirely. But Friday is the time that I get to hang out with you guys, shoot the breeze, as the English call it. And there's so many of you. And I do encourage you guys that if you have any ghost stories regarding World War II, like what Stefan and Paris have all been sending me today, do text me. My number is 94594931. I believe I tagged the number out there. If not, I'm sure you can find it on the back of all toilet doors or the community. If you guys are listening in and you want to help me out here, if someone's asking for my number, please just key my number into the message. You have my full permission to dox my number. So today with me is a very, very special guest, and coming to this year 2025, as we know, Jonathan has left us for a couple of months now, and all of us do feel that way, and I've spoken to you guys. There's nobody really that can replace John. John left a very big hole in our Supernatural Confessions community, but I know you guys are all pretty happy that we're still continuing his legacy. We are doing our best to not just entertain, but to enjoy. Right, I think it's not just about entertainment, enjoying ourselves as well. And case in point, we have people from the community stepping up, taking on co-host role, and that's so amazing. Like every week, I get a different experience with you guys. Lord knows I'm not even prepared, because Friday Night Live is never about scripting. It's always about reacting and having the depth of knowledge to sprout. And that's why being a host on Friday Night Live is not an easy shoe to fill. You not only have you be entertaining, articulate, eloquent, knowledgeable, and still be able to be a good storyteller. So do we have that sort of talent to fill up the shoes of the great legendary John, the immortal Jonathan Lim, in the years to come? We don't know, but we're keeping that doors open, and I'm sure you guys from the community are also stepping up and enjoying this process of discovering not just a talent, but for some of you, your very own talent. Today with me is Heyman. Heyman.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Feels very surreal being on this side rather than just watching.
No, but I can see that you have great headphones, Yeti mic, great lighting. You're prepared for this.
I bought all this for today. So
That's dedication, man.
Some of it for today.
Okay. Well, I want to say before we let Heyman tell you more about himself and when he started watching Supernatural Confessions, I want to say big thank you to all our Patreons. The numbers are growing. Thank you so much for supporting us. I started Supernatural Confessions full-time in 2024 in April, just about a year ago, and I asked the community, I say, if you would like to see SC continue, please lend me your support, because Singapore is not cheap, and all I'm asking for is a plate of chicken rice on the table, a roof over my head, and if I can pull that off in a year, I will be able to continue. And this 2025, we have gone beyond our own expectations. That can only be due to the efforts of the community stepping up and really supporting Supernatural Confessions and supporting me, allowing this show to go on full time. So thank you very much, Patreons. If you're interested to join us as Patreon, that's patreon.com/Supernatural Confessions. Also, there's other ways of supporting us on a more micro level. If a big chunk of donations or your blessings is a bit too much to swallow, you can also join us very easily on Supernatural Confessions YouTube channel as a member. All it takes is $3. What you should get out of it? Your name will be highlighted. You get a nice little icon by the side of your name to identify how lao chiao you are as a member. I believe in time to come, we will be adding more perks and benefits to that. But for right now, it's because giving perks and benefits is not just saying it. You got to live it. You got to plan for it. There's thought and feelings involved. So don't want to promise something if I'm not able to deliver. Many of you who know the kind of merchandise I put out, the kind of products I put out, if it's not up to, I like to say, John's standard, it's not going out there. Okay, there's other ways to support as well. If you click the $ right beside the comment box, you put in any amount you want. Big blue, green, or yellow box pops out, and I can read your comment. Because sometimes when I'm on the mic and I'm reading confessions, I'm talking to my host, it's very difficult to look at comments. So if I miss anything at all, I'm very sorry. But to avoid me missing anything, just click the $ button, drop any amount, and I will definitely read your message. Okay, Heyman, tell us more about you.
Thank you. So I've started with listening to Supernatural Confessions back in 2019, I believe.
Shit.
Yeah, so back in during COVID, when there was not much to do, so just on Spotify, just fell in love with the podcast. So started from the first episode, started listening. Every day I try to space myself out, not because if you go one day, you probably get through it really quick. So I was like, no, I gotta space myself out, maybe 1 or 2 episodes a day. I just really enjoyed the dynamics, between Eugene and all the hosts. And then I think what really brought me here was just the community and how everyone's always very, very welcoming. So again, a big thank you to Eugene for giving me the platform to be here today. And yeah, I mean, so many familiar faces, so many familiar names, in the comments. Thank you to all of you as well for joining us today.
Damn,
Yeah,
Heyman, you got a radio voice, man. I mean, it's so deep and
I know, right?
bassy. Yeah,
I'll put it to good use today. So.
nice. And you've also been on the movie outings, and you met the community people, right?
Yep. In fact, my favorite segment in the whole Supernatural Confessions experience is a ghost mortem. Without fail, every Tuesday with John, Eugene. Love it so much. Everyone commenting all the short films, the awards. It was a really big part of those years.
Yeah,
something
that's
I love.
2019. So that's when John and I first started Supernatural Confessions, not on Friday Night Live. Back then, Friday Night Live was with Team O, if you remember, the
Team
very
O,
first.
yeah.
Team O. Then later, E.T. joined us. Then 2 years after that came the what's his name? Cuckoo Bird. Kim. Yeah. Kimmy, JDC, Sonia, and John. But John was actually there from the Ghost Mortem era. The only reason why you don't find Ghost Mortem on our YouTube channel is because most of it got flagged for copyright.
Yeah,
Sadly.
that's unfortunate. Yeah, but I mean, it was a great experience. I think watching like short horror movies. Just relating it, trying to relate to it, trying to share your own experiences from that as a basis.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it so much. Yeah.
Well, we may have to bring it back in some shape, way, and form, especially during festivals. Like there's Something Strange festivals this year. I think we may be watching a couple of local movies and some regional horror movies and talking about them as well after that. Okay, but for today, this theme was picked specially for you, Hammond. World War II ghost stories. Like, I've not done this in the last 5 years of running the show. So give the fans and the community an insight to why we chose this.
Yeah, I would love to. For those of you who might not know, I'm a history major, and it makes me sound extremely nerdy, but promise you I'm not. But fun fact, my wife is a history major as well, and I think she's watching. So yeah, I like to think we were a match made in heaven.
So she likes to bring up the past, lah.
Sometimes, but always in a good way. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, history major. So I think my love for history always just started with all the colloquial stories that we hear from our grandparents about how times were in the past, before our time, and I just love that aspect of it. Trying to imagine the things that they went through and trying to picture it. And a big part of that was the ghost stories I heard, from my grandparents, from my parents as well, from family all around. And in fact, I loved it so much that I wanted to kind of do a tribute, for giving me the inspiration. So I did my final year project, which is this extremely long, very, very tedious paper that you have to write at the end when you graduate. I did it about ghost stories, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Till today, when I tell people that, they still laugh and be like, what?
How does your lecturer take that when you submit a thesis dissertation on ghost stories? Like, there's academic people, right? They are not very supportive of such things, right?
I think when I pitched the idea to her at first, she was a bit taken aback. Like she kind of looked at me like, okay, so when are you going to actually start presenting the topic? Then I was like, no, this is actually the topic. But so the thing is, I had to kind of reinforce that I wasn't going into proving ghosts, whether they're real or not, or trying to find, but it's more of trying to show how people use ghost stories as a way to remember their own history, remember suppressed history. Just try to link it back and see the reasons behind why ghost stories are so important to us and the culture that we have. Yeah.
Thanks for fighting the good fight to push forward, all this all this ideology so they don't die.
I know, right? So it was a very fun experience. I had to do a lot of interviews, do some site recce's. Yeah, so it's great. It's great. I mean,
when you say site recce's, do you mean like go down to all these Sukching massacre sites?
Yeah, I had to actually go there with a camera, just show them doing some legwork for it, not just. Yeah, and then most of it was libraries, which of course in itself can be quite creepy sometimes. But yeah, it was a lot of reading. It was very interesting.
So how many ghost stories do you have for us tonight?
That is a very, very good question. I have a handful. And so I have a few that I've heard that I want to recount today. But at the end, I want to share one that actually happened to me. So it's the only ghost experience that's happened to me. Till today, it's the one story I have. And even though it's not related to the team, but it's something that I really want to share.
Okay. Well, you're gonna keep that for the last, is it?
Yeah, for the last, the best for last.
I knew it. Okay, why don't I start off with reading some of the comments that, or rather not comments, but the text that I received just now.
Sure.
This is all regards to World War II stories. Now, they have sent it to me. I've copied and pasted. I've not read it yet. So if they drop some F-bomb in there or they give me shit confession, I don't know. I'm just going to read out as it is. And I'm going to name names and shame them if anything goes wrong. First one, Paris Maitreya. So, okay lah, it's regular, so can trust lah. Paris, this one is what he sent. My father was forced to work in the Japanese camp as a little boy. They would feed him and make him wear an armband. When there's an explosion, they would send the kids out to help pick up the dead body parts. My dad told me that when the Japanese were building a bridge over a river in Malaysia, every night a strong wind would come and soldiers and people would fall into the river, never to be seen again. And one day, they found out it was caused by a gigantic serpent. So the soldiers killed it and removed a huge glowing pearl from it. Apparently, the pearl now belongs to the emperor. That's one of the giant serpent stories he told me during World War II.
Oh, wow. You mean there's more giant serpent stories?
I don't know. But so there's one thing that as a historian I want to ask you, right?
Yeah.
The Shinto shrine in Maritime. There's been a debate and it's shrouded in mystery. As a historian, can you shed some light on that, please?
Oh man, I wish I had the answer to that. I read a bit about it when I was doing research for my paper, actually. So the thing is, sometimes as part of history, right, we fail to understand that it was not all highlight moments. Even during the Japanese occupation, there were times where Japanese people there just had to live normal lives, live average moments in their lifetime, the lives there. So I think some of these shrines, even though to us they may look like it's at obscure, random places, for all we know, right, it could just be people who found a very scenic spot, by a water body, and just like thought, hey, this is a very nice place to worship, to pray. They just build a shrine. But just because as time goes on, right, people kind of add their own spin on it, add their own versions to it. So this is how something small can change and evolve into something.
So we are going with the Japanese building the Shinto shrine at Maritime because it's a nice scenic spot.
That's my best guess.
Okay, so I'm going to throw out some hearsays and urban legends to you. Let's see how much of that is backed by history and how much of that is just pure urban legend. So according to some people I spoke to who claims that the Shinto shrine was where they buried the 3 sacred treasures of the Japanese. The 3 items are a shield, a sword, and a jewel. A sword, the sword Kusanagi no Tsurugi. The mirror, Yata no Kagami, and the jewel, Yasakani no Magatama, has never been found. According to some legend, it's not found in the world because it's still buried under Meiji.
Mm.
And that is why the government is preventing everyone from going to the Shinto shrine.
Oh, that's actually very interesting. It's very interesting because I think what that story gives us, it kind of amplifies Singapore's importance to the Japanese at the point of time. I mean, for them to actually bring these treasures that they hold so dearly and have so much cultural and value to them, right? To bring it to Singapore and to hide it here, I think it really adds a lot of credence to it. Because I mean, we all heard the stories of why Japan wanted Singapore, the how important we were to them, and how they really wanted to come here and occupy us as quickly as possible. So I think there's some good possibility that it is possible that for all maybe there is a specific reason why they wanted to use Singapore for that. Maybe like the fact that we're on the equator, some cultural significance there.
Yeah, some ley lines thing, right?
Ley line thing, yeah.
The reason I brought up these three treasures is because the sword, apparently according to the Japanese legend, was obtained from the body of an 8-headed serpent, Yamata no Orochi. So when we think back on Paris Maitreya's story about killing of the serpent, taking the pearl, bringing it back to the Japanese emperor, that's part of the lore and the Japanese legend.
Yeah, for sure. And I think not only we don't really have to just look at Japan. I mean, look at even like Germany during the war. Like how the Nazi forces were very obsessed with the occult. Back then, trying to look for the spear of destiny, because Hitler believed that it will give him divine powers and things like that. So I mean, it's not far-fetched to think that the Japanese also had a similar concept.
Because at that point in time, the world was very much steeped in mysticism. Germany was trying to find the spear of destiny, as we all know. They were even going up north towards the North Pole to find something, not sure what he's looking for. So Japanese and their pearl and their magic items. Again, it's not out of brand. With regards to its the history of its time. Paris Maitreya also added that the legend is that the General Yamashita buried his gold treasures there. And people are going in digging holes all over the place, which made NParks stop all that nonsense so that NHB themselves can go dig for their own treasures, I suppose.
That'll be interesting. Maybe that's how they funded the nice building that they had.
Singapore's funding come from where? No natural resource, right? All the gold and all the magic items on the island.
The true reserves. All there in gold.
All right. So I gave you one confession. We're gonna take turns today. Okay. I've got about three to four good ones on my side. So let's take turns. Let's bounce off one another. Okay, sure, you go next.
All right. So I think the first story I want to share is with regards to a school in the east. So this school is actually used to be the site of one of the smaller Sukching massacres. So as we know, the popular Sukching sites were the beaches, the beachfronts, some other areas around. But there were actually much other smaller Sukching massacres that happened. Where 40 to 50 people were killed in these places as well. So this school happens to be on one of these spots. So I managed to catch up with a friend when I was doing my paper to ask, has she experienced anything, in a time
is the school in the east side?
East side. Yes, it's the east side.
Is it near the sea? Okay, I know where.
That's
okay.
Up to your imagination. So this story is interesting because I think when she started telling me the story, she prefaced it by saying that, hey, I don't believe in ghosts. I'm not someone who believes in ghosts, and there's always a logical explanation for everything. So she's telling me basically there was this one night where they had a school event, so they were preparing for it. They had to stay quite late. I think it was about 9-10 p.m. to prepare for the event the next morning. So they're working on it, doing up signages and things like that. So I think there was a point in time where she had to go to the library to type out some stuff. So she was alone. She went to the library. Was just working on her laptop, typing away. She was plugged in, right? And she's typing away, and she heard someone talking, like someone, just like it's how if you don't have very good noise cancellation, you can always hear conversations happening around you. Right? So she heard just like mumbling, whispering. Yeah. So she wanted to just she kind of took out like one side of the earphones and she was like, but there was nothing. She couldn't hear anything. So she just put back, plugged in, continued working, and then the sound continued. And then as she kind of listened a bit more closely, trying to kind of tune in to what was happening, she realized it was Japanese. So it was Japanese, and then it was someone just like almost like kind of trying to get her attention. So they were just talking in Japanese. She was like, it's very strange. So she kind of took out her headphones again. Suddenly, again, nothing. So she thought that there was something wrong with her headphones. Maybe like radio wave interference. So she just took out her earphones, and she just continued working. And then as she worked, she just heard this loud scream. Someone just shouting this one word, very loud in the library. So she just freaked. She just left everything there. She ran out of the library, went back to where her friends were. Then she's told, I heard this loud sound. Like, did you all hear it as well? And nobody heard anything. So everybody was like, oh, what did you hear? What did you hear? So for the longest time, she didn't know what she heard. It's just that I think a few months later, she kind of figured out that what she heard was someone shouting help in Japanese. It was just a really loud sound, just like that. And then, like she couldn't figure out like where it came from. There was nothing in the library. She was the only person. And then she just, but she tell me, I'm sure there's a logical explanation for it. I try to ask her like, what could it be? What do you think it was? What is the logical explanation behind something like that? She said, like, maybe it's the PA system or something. And I was like,
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there was someone in the principal's room.
Someone's watching porn next nearby in a cross line.
Yep. I hope not, because it's school. So. So I think that was the one. And I mean, till today, I think she was saying that she still doesn't believe in in supernatural things. That was the only encounter she had.
I used to be pretty critical of skeptics, not believing in even in their own encounters, but I kind of understand why skeptics say the things they say, because if they were to actually admit that there is a haunting, they are unable to reconcile or to reconcile reality with what they've just seen and heard, because it would crash their entire system.
Yeah, correct. Your belief system is completely upended.
So it's just easier to rubbish it off so that you can continue your life as per normal. And if you're just seeing something for like 2 seconds or a split second, there's no need to start going down a rabbit hole because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just easier to it don't exist. So just wipe it off.
Yeah, for sure. And in fact, I think this just kind of brings out a quote that I remember someone told me that you'll never know you're in a ghost story until it ends. Sometimes like when you experience something, it doesn't immediately register that you just experienced something that is not supposed to happen. It's only later when you kind of put the pieces together, then you're like, hey, wait, that's not normal.
Like the confessor featured confessor that we had today at 9:30, if you managed to catch that, he talked about how he could see ghosts from an early age. So now obviously he's an adult, he has a lot more experiences and able to control his sightings. But when he was really young, he had no ability to control. He would see things in clear 3-dimensional 4K resolution, and he would talk to it. And it would be normal. And in fact, in one of his last confession, the Japanese soldier taught him how to speak Japanese. So as a child, he could speak Japanese. The parents were like, where you got that from? Like not television, of course. There's no... In school, you're only learning Chinese and English. Where do you learn Japanese from? He's like, the uncle in the brown shirt taught me. And to him, that's as normal. That's normal, like how we would see any other random strangers on the street.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping it was Doraemon, but Uncle in the Brown Shirt
Uncle the brown shirt.
sounds way worse.
Yeah. So CJ is saying that if perhaps what I heard was the Yamate Tame Tame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I won't discount any.
I heard that from
Any
Gundam lah. Gundam
possibilities.
the cartoon taught me that.
I think you and I watch very different Gundams. Yeah, but so I think that was interesting because getting that from, as you were saying, someone who's a skeptic or a cynic, but then again couldn't give a really real explanation. In fact, I'm pretty sure she herself kind of didn't believe the kind of explanations she was giving.
But it's okay because it only happened for that split second. She
Yeah.
heard a cross line. She cannot confirm. But there's another school, since you brought up schools, there's another school, also in the east side, a rather large old school. This one is a story about a guy, multiple guys, who have seen a Japanese soldier walking across the lawn. And it's a very common sighting. And in that particular school, there are more than just the Japanese soldier sighting. Thank you, Fox Fu. Shout out for John's trip tomorrow. Paisei can't join. Never mind, you reverse in spirit. So in this particular school, there will be sightings of a Japanese soldier walking across. Now, when the students, of course, tell the teachers like, don't talk rubbish. And I taught writing there for some years, so I spoke to the teachers in the area, and it says, "Yeah lah, the place is scary and eerie. We don't try to stay after 5 p.m. because most of us get the creeps, but only very very few people can see. It's not as rampant as everyone saying, wow, the school is haunted. Everyone can see. No. It's everyone has a story. Not everyone can see." But the story of the Japanese soldier walking across the lawn is one of the most popular story that not just students, but even the principal has seen it for himself.
Wow.
So that particular school underwent renovation, and that part of the lawn was dug up to build an annex. When they dug out the place, they found a Japanese sword in the ground, buried there. So the principal was the one who removed it. And he said he brought it back. He put it inside the store. After that, he can hear the store. There's walking sound, there's marching sound. Things will be moving inside the place. And so he called the brothers, the priest, to come down to bless the thing, deconsecrate it, and to do something with it. And I said, "So what do you do with the sword?" He says he still kept it somewhere in school as a mark of respect, because he don't want to throw it away. He don't want to bring it back home.
Yeah.
So he got a priest to come consecrate it, to pacify the spirit, and kept it in a store. And ever since then, there's no more sightings of the Japanese soldier in the area.
Wow. So I guess it was tied to the sword, possibly.
Yeah.
He wanted it to be unearthed.
But
Maybe he was tired of kids running on top of the field. It's like, nope, enough.
yeah. Okay, so that's my story that I shared with you. You have one more?
I do.
Okay.
So this one comes from WW2. So again, it was
Quite
someone who's
nearby. Are we going?
nearby.
I'm a geographical location now. Okay.
Yeah. WW2. So this person is an angler. So he used to fish in the area a lot. And then he always goes in times when it's like the off-peak times, when there's little people as possible. So he was just telling me that it's one night fishing, normal, nothing happening, and he heard like someone crying for help. So he was like, "Oh, that's weird." So he kind of looked out into the water just to see, if there's anyone, who was in trouble in the water. Looked out, nothing. Continued fishing, and it just kept. It was like a droning sound, asking for help, right? And he looked out again, so he saw like this like coconut or something that looked like a coconut, just like floating in the water. And he was like, "Wait, what's that?" So he tried to look closely, use his phone torch, try to shine on it. It turned out to be, and as he was describing it, it was a bald head, very little hair. There were no eyes. It was very reddish. It was very puffy, like it's been in the water for very long, and it was just like crying and asking for help. And it was just bobbing in the water very near the jetty. And he just like froze for a minute. He was like, "It can't be a real person, right? Because it's just a hit." He just bolted. And he said, he was wondering why, like, what was it that he saw. So apparently his other angler friends told him that back then, when they were doing the sukching, right, the hits that they cut off, they used to just toss it into the sea. Some of it, came back onto shore. Some of it got lost at sea. So the anglers kind of have this belief that it's just one of the hits that didn't come back. Was just at sea, and the poor soul is just crying out for help and lost. I think that was one of the more like visual stories where it was he could actually like describe what he was seeing in such detail. Then he was just like till today he can't get the image out of his head because it's such a like gruesome image, right?
And this was when 1990s. No, but you said of phone, so it's the 2000s.
Yeah, it's 2000s.
Okay.
Not 2012 or 13, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, it's quite recent.
Yeah, it's quite recent. Yeah.
And most places, I felt that the Sukching massacre, the kind of spirits that they used to anchor in the land, kind of has been weakened. I feel like not as strong as it was in the 90s or the 80s. Reading the comment section, Timothy Tan saying, "Can't imagine a possessed student swinging the sword." Probably from Yishun, if there was one. And G Siu says, "Eugene, could you request that a sword for your museum if they don't know what to do with it?" Unfortunately, that principal is no longer the principal of the school, and I have no contact with the new principal, and I have tried to reach out to the brothers and the new team because I'm trying to run a tour around the vicinity. It's not easy to get into conversations with them. So I would love to have that sword in my museum.
I think the school that you're talking about, it'll be a very nice place to have a tour at.
Right.
How old it is.
Right. RYWL is also saying that they also found skulls and skeletons there when they were digging up. Yes, that is true. When they were digging up, it's not just the sword. They also found skulls and skeleton. And from the way the skulls have been removed from the rest of the skeleton, they hypothesized that area was where the beheading would take place. There's also one other story that would come up on the school. Maybe I might find some time later on to tell you that.
Sure.
There's also one more, since you talk about the beach site. I want to talk about another beach. But before that, thank you, Samuel Yuan, for your blessings. Hello, everybody. My late father, born 1946, once told me before that he found a skull at Changi Beach when he was a little boy.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Like stories.
It's not uncommon, or even
It's
up to the
uncommon,
90s, right? 90s, most of us are reborn by then, would still have found skeleton remains at Sukching site.
I think it just shows how massive the kind of things that happened there were.
I like it. The Japanese were saying, no, we only killed 500 people. Right?
And we're still finding parts till 1990.
I know. I think the numbers are closer to 50,000.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Yeah.
NG Shu is asking which school. Tell us, please. I cannot tell you, NG, but there's enough clues in the story and there's enough discussion in the comment section for you to know which school it is.
Figure it out.
A couple of our viewers are from that school. Go figure. Okay, so the Japanese beheaded. Okay, so there's one. If you've been to my Walk with Hantu tour, we covered one of the urban legends about flying heads. And apparently in Changi, one of the highest sightings of Hantu is the flying head. But turns out everyone mistook, because they were flying heads, they must be the heads of the deceased, like what we just mentioned. The skulls are thrown into the water. So it's not hard to add 1 + 1 and figure that, flying heads, therefore the Japanese must have beheaded people, the heads are looking for the body. It's only true that 12, at least of what we know, 12 people were decapitated in Changi along the stone bridge from Changi village to Changi beach. Only 12. along that place, and their heads were strung up. They were the Japanese were very proud of what they did. But ever since then, superstitions, there is the urban legend that one should not cycle over that stone bridge, or one risk having the ghost pull them into the river to drown.
Wow.
Have you heard of that superstitions when you're doing your research?
No, I have not heard of that. But that's interesting. Like, is it just cycle, or if you walk or run across?
Walk is fine. Running
Walk
across
is
is fine.
That's fine.
Just not cycling.
Okay.
I don't know why that is so, but I suppose the Japanese cycled to Singapore, so
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Maybe when they cycle across the causeway, bicycles bring back bad memories for these spirits. So they nope. If you're on a bicycle, it means high
You
chance you might be
Japanese.
Japanese. Yeah, so it's the best way to identify someone.
Crystal Ang plopped in $2 for blessing and says, any story for Seremban beach landing?
Beach landing. No, unfortunately, I don't have anything from there. But I'm ready for my next story.
Okay.
If it's good, yeah.
Hold on. Crystal, I'll tell you a Seremban story later on. Okay.
Go
ahead.
you want to go first?
No. Maybe if we take turns, we take turns.
Yeah, take turns. Okay. Wait, I just told the last one. Okay, but it's okay. I'll just go ahead. This one comes from the airport. So, in fact, Changi Airport, Terminal 3, is actually one of the lesser known Sukching sites. So, as the land over there, most of it is reclaimed, right? So, back then, when it used to be the beachfront, I think there were about 100 to 200 numbers people who were massacred there. And this is all in fact, I remember seeing the map when I was doing research for my paper, and actually lists out the number of people and the different sites that it happened. So I was very shocked to see Changi Airport there, right below Terminal 3, that stretch of land. So this actually comes from someone who works at the airport, who was sharing with me that they work in the cargo department. So according to them, the cargo department has a lot of supernatural encounters. A lot of them, I know some of the older staff always tell the younger staff, hey, this is normal, just get used to it. And you might think, your view of the airport is it's bustling and there's lights everywhere. It's probably one of the most well-lit buildings in Singapore. How can it be scary, right? So I think for the cargo part of the house, it's more quiet. There's not a lot of human traffic. And it's a bit dimmer, it's a bit darker. So yeah, so I think he was just sharing that one night when he was doing the night shift, he was just going about his work for the day, and so his friend radioed him just to say like, hey, have you done these tasks, all that. And then I was like, yeah. So the friend is in the control center, who kind of has like view of everything. And the friend was like, I think there's someone who's at the entrance of the bay that they were in. And he was like, no, I don't see anybody. So according to the friend, he saw like a man just standing at the entrance, wearing I think it was like a singlet and just like his old timer shorts, right? Like boxer shorts. This very scrawny looking man just standing at the entrance, and his singlet looked like it was bloody. So there was like blood all over, patches of blood everywhere. And then the person I was speaking to said, no, I don't see anything here. But the friend was like, no, we have to. So I think they activated like the airport police to check, because you don't want to get trespassers and all that. Everybody came down, they did the checks, couldn't find anything. So apparently that old man in the singlet is a commonly cited entity there. They don't know where he came from, but I think the prevalent belief is he used to be like a victim of one of the massacres. I think they used a bayonet on him. So that's why you could see those huge red color spots all over his body. And he would just kind of stand there. Sometimes he would just like walk away. There's times where he kind of just walks through like walls, just walks away. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that one, but it's one of those entities where you kind of get so used to it, or you work so long there that it's just okay, hey, what's up? You know, can't do anything about it.
I kind of noticed there's something about this Japanese occupation ghost.
Mm.
Perhaps because they were dead for so long, almost 100 years, that now all modern sightings of ghosts from that era ends up becoming like a loop. You know, like
Yeah.
we see them walking
Yeah.
through the walls, we see them walking across the field. They are just doing the same thing over and over again. They're not like an active, intelligent haunting where they try to scare you or try to communicate with you. They're just doing the same old shit over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, so I had the opportunity to actually interview a psychologist who was in SPI back then. I can't remember
Kenny?
the name. Was it Kenny?
No?
I have to go look out his name.
Okay.
Very nice guy. He gave me an hour of his time just to talk, and he was telling me about how all these entities that we see and the spirits, that people see, mostly it's energy that has stained the place. So when overwhelming negative occurrence has happened, it stains the environment around it. So whether it's the walls, whether it's the ground, whether it's anything around it, and because of that, that's why there's this like loop where the energies cannot escape from the place. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was interesting when you brought it up.
Okay.
And it's also really sad when you think about it that they can't really escape that cycle.
Well, the next things I want to talk about is not exactly confession level, but there are things to answer. Some of the common things that have been asked. But let me answer the topic first about Seremban. Seremban, that's where the Japanese landed, right, from northwest of Singapore. In fact, during the invasion, they started bombarding Singapore at Changi from Pulau Ubin first, but that was just a decoy because they wanted all the British force to come down south to attack, to defend against the Japanese, but actually the Japanese were coming down from the northwest side of Singapore, which is the Seremban area. Seremban area, if you remember now, if you just go and Google the area, that place is like nature reserve, untouched. And the forests are still there. Seremban camp, which is scout camp, is one of the most number of ghost stories coming from that place as well. The story that I've heard about Seremban camp, Seremban area, is not so much a Japanese ghost, but get this, where the Japanese landed, apparently in their correspondence back to the war correspondence back, they said they were under attack by things from the trees. And in their description, they said is yokai. Yokai, if you know, is a Japanese word for demons or ghosts.
Yeah.
So most people just gloss over that 2-3 lines in that part of history. But Jonathan and myself, these are the kind of things that really pop up and we're like, what do you mean?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So I remember speaking about this with him before. Thank you for bringing this up. So that's why I'm only recalling this now. We were thinking and we were laughing about this because we think the people that were attacking the Japanese when they first landed were not the British soldiers. They did not know about that. Are the resident Pontianak of the area. Right? Seremban is one of the highest sightings of Pontianak.
Yeah.
So when they landed and they were trying to go through the forest, all these Pontianak, the yokais, are fighting them or scaring them or attacking them. So I don't know. That's the story that don't get a lot of airtime, but I feel it should get more attention.
Yeah, I mean, it would fit the theme because Pontianak's preying on young eligible men. There's platoons of them that just landed. So she's like, it's a buffet.
Fresh meat.
Japanese buffet.
Yeah. Sashimi, boys. Whip it out. The other one is the old Ford factory. Okay, so Cliff Notes, you want to tell us a bit old Ford factory? How is that pertinent to the World War and history?
Yeah, of course. So the old Ford factory is where the surrender happened. So I think even if you go now, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's still a museum where you can see the figurines and reenacts the whole how the surrender transpired, how the signing took place, and then I think it's a place of deep sorrow for anyone who remembers the time, because I think that's when basically it was a point in time when all you kind of realize, or the people back then probably realized that all hope is lost.
Yeah.
The British were always seen as the saviors. They were always gonna keep us safe. There was a lot of faith that they put in the British forces,
Yeah.
and then I think at that point when you see them just bowing away and signing away Singapore, and the Japanese flag being hoisted up, and the Union Jack coming down, I think that must have been a very very painful moment of what's to come.
So that's the history of Old Fort Factory, which would mean that the British were the one who has lost. The Japanese have all the things to celebrate. But one of the urban legend about Old Fort Factory is people saying they see Japanese soldier haunting the place. I can't understand why. Come join me in this discussion here. Okay, let's hypothesize and let's dissect this.
Sure.
We know about the supernatural in the way that if something bad happens, like a death or suicide or place of vengeance, the spirit remains, and there's negativity in the land and the walls. That's why you create some form of haunting. But there's no death in the Fort Factory. If anyone that should be haunting the place because they were depressed and upset would be the British, not the Japanese. So why would there be a Japanese soldier haunting Fort Factory? I don't quite get the logic in that haunting. Have you heard anything from that place?
I've heard stories of that place, but again, I've only heard of stories of the British ghosts. I've heard stories of people saying they've seen women wearing this the old school regalia with the big gowns and all, just running down the hallway.
In Old Fort Factory.
Old Fort Factory, yeah.
Oh.
And then I think that would make sense because I think that was the point in for all the British people that were living here as well. I think a point of deep sorrow. So I think
yeah, but was there any Victorian lady died there to run around the corridors with a big puffy Victorian dress?
So I think that kind of goes back to what you're saying, that sometimes this soldier that the people see haunting the place might not actually be from Fort Factory itself. So just like this possible Victorian lady who's there, she might be there from something else that happened. But similarly, I like to think that hauntings can sometimes happen not just from negative emotions; they can also happen from positive emotions. So for these soldiers, I think the Fort Factory could present this the highlight of their time in Singapore. Where the country fell to them. They were at the highest euphoria that they experienced. They finally won the war here and things like that. So I think just like how we always say, negative emotions can kind of tie entities to different places, right? Yeah. So maybe it's a chance that positive emotions can also do the same. So for this Japanese soldier, he got tied down here because of all the the positive memories and emotions he had, and it's like a safe space for him.
Oh my God! You just reminded me of another story. I've got so many stories to share today. Well, I'm trying to recall and trying to catch up really, because someone else was saying, I'm losing it. Okay, but anyway, Michael Koo was saying maybe there's an artifact in there that's attached to the ghosts.
Yeah, possible. I mean, they have those wax figures and all, right? So maybe it's they kind of see as effigies and stuff.
Oh, speaking of wax figure in Japanese, then you got to talk about Fort Siloso.
Fort Siloso, yeah.
Do you have any stories from there?
I have, but I think they're mostly the ones that we've already heard.
Okay.
Common ones, we've heard of figures coming to life at night. You can hear so if I remember correctly, I think they actually play the audio recordings of things that transpired there. So when you do the tour, it plays. So I think after a certain time it stops. When the Fort Siloso closes. So I think I've heard people say that I have friends who work there before, and they always say that sometimes at night, right when you're locking up, you hear the thing start playing again. The recording, yeah. Then they're like, they kind of just look at each other, and then they're like, "Do you want to go and check on it?" And they're like, "No, it's okay. It's past our working hours." So.
One of our SC members actually, she was, I think she's a bit sensitive with the third eye. She said she was there, and she could hear the cannons go off.
Oh wow!
And she could hear Japanese people talking. Yeah, somewhere there's she sort of tapped in on a past. Another, I mean, of course, some of the famous stories that furniture can move off on its own in Fort Siloso, and that's why the furniture, the tables and chairs, are actually bolted down to the ground to prevent them from moving.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, I always thought just to prevent them from getting stolen.
No, it's to prevent them from moving around. And this was actually told to me by someone who actually worked there, who's also from SC and SC. His name just eludes me right now. Very soft-spoken guy, very muscular, wears sunglasses.
Sounds like me, but I don't think it's me.
Yeah. Okay. And then what? John was also working on the Halloween special called No Surrender. No, maybe it's not Halloween special. It's the opening of the Battle Bunker, No Surrender. And I asked her, I said, is this place haunted? He said, no lah, not haunted at all lah. But according to him, because he was doing his research, some of the urban legends that came out of Fort Canning Battle Bunker is that when the Japanese came, they won the war, and they took over all the military installations, and one of that military installations is the battle box at Fort Canning. They didn't stay there more than a week. They left because according to urban legend, when they look up the sky on top of the hill, they could see fireballs, and there'll be ghosts of the old ancient kings and their soldiers rushing towards them. The Japanese, when they sleep, on the door of their bunk, they'll find scribbles, sigils carved into their door, and they don't know where they came from. And some scouts that went out for scouting mission never came back. Disappeared. So that's when they pack up and they left. But again, no confirmation.
Yeah. So the one thing, when we talk about these stories of the past, right? These kind of encounters. I think what really saddens me is probably people didn't record it because it just sounds so like fantastical. So they're like, let's not put this in the records. Let's not list it down. And but there's so much you can kind of get from these stories, and I think it's probably the big reason why people tell ghost stories is because they want these kind of narratives to be remembered. Not get forgotten in time.
Okay, I'll go to my confessions. This is from Stefan, who shared this with me, and I want to read it out to you guys. My grandfather was one of those initially rounded up during Sukching. On a fateful day, he was stopped at one of the many checkpoints and asked to board one of the many lorries. Oh shit! Then before the lorry started to move off, a person dressed in those white Kung Fu master attire identified himself as a physician and spoke to a Japanese soldier who went to my grandfather and said, "The physician wants to talk to you about your sick son," which is Stefan's uncle, and said to make it quick. "Paitila, paitila." Oh no, that's Paiti is Cantonese. Kakina, as the vehicles were about to set off. My grandfather went down the lorry to look for the man in white Kung Fu master attire in the office, and then the guard room looking for the Chinese physician. But there was no trace of him there until he went to the gate of the checkpoint. Again, no Chinese physician. Then the junior ranking Japanese soldier at the guard post thought he was there to capo, so chased him away. So my grandfather went home, and indeed, my uncle, who was then a toddler, was down with a fever, but nothing serious. My grandfather, through the grapevine and neighbor gossips, learned that those lorries either went to the beach to be shot or sent to Burma for hard labor. Wow. My grandfather went on to live to a ripe old age of 93, with many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. The end. Wow. Stefan, shock.
Yeah, sure, yeah. That was very good. That was a very good one.
Saved by a ghost of a Chinese physician in a Kung Fu master outfit.
Yeah, who would have thought? So that's very interesting. I don't think I've heard a story where someone who experienced the occupation itself was actually saved by an entity back then. So this physician could have been someone who could have been an early victim of the Japanese. And he was trying his best to save as many possible children from the clutches of the Japanese. It's like heartwarming but scary at the
But it
same
also
time.
makes you wonder how they choose who to save.
Mm.
Could the grandfather be siring someone in the lineage that turns out to be a world savior? Like
Yeah,
how far down that line
the
goes?
butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Like how, like, did they save all children? Like, was it specifically children? Was it specifically of a certain age? That this doctor was looking out for.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, I got 2 more stories left. How many do you have?
Mm.
Or you got tons?
I have my big one that I'm saving.
You left the big one?
for
Okay. I got 2 more. Should I go with that first and let you save
please.
yours?
Please go
Okay.
ahead.
So I got 2 more. This one, I'm going to go with. We always talk about the Japanese being bad people.
Mm.
This story is about a Japanese commander who's a sympathizer. And I was brought to this location by actually Patricia and Waikit. Waikit is also Patricia and Waikit, who are patrons of SC as well. They brought me to this location, and she was one who told me about this story. Now I'm going to try to recall the story she told me, because I heard it about a month ago and I didn't get to record it, and I'm just going to try to pull that out from memory. According to her, and I saw this with my own eyes as well, there is a shrine in this location that has a stone and a broken spectacles in front of the stone. You know those Japanese small round spectacle?
Yep.
And according to Patricia, who has the eye, she was able to see, or at least feel, that there is a Japanese commander left on that land. And unlike some of the Japanese ghost story that we heard, where they are there to haunt, or they are in depression and they're going through a cycle, this particular commander, he is in charge of all the other local ghosts there to take care of them. He's the big brother.
Wow.
And I think he was given a chance to go back to Japan, but he didn't, and he died here. I mean, back when he was alive lah.
Okay.
So he died here. So perhaps he might have a local girlfriend, I think.
Possibly.
Because in the story that was told to me, there was another local ghost that is housed in the same shrine together with the Japanese commander, and they are together ever since.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So usually when things like this happen, I get a sense that there is a certain pattern that must be resolved or must be fulfilled.
Yep.
So like in life, there was this woman. In death, we don't know. It could have been the soul of that same woman, or the soul reincarnated, and then that new character died and comes back to find the commander who did not want to leave Singapore because of that.
Wow, it's like star-crossed lovers.
Yeah.
Wow, it's very nice.
Because we always think of war stories as one side being good, one side being evil. But I believe even within the ranks of the Japanese, there might be a sympathizer there.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's never black and white. It's never black and white. Like the good guys are not always good and the bad guys are not always bad. And looking at this number of Japanese soldiers were here, I think most of them, might be fighting for the emperor and believe in the cause. But I'm sure there's a handful that probably thought the things that were happening here, the sukching, the torture, the mass killings, all just was too much.
Even with the Hitlers also, right? They have the people who are detractors who do not agree with him.
Yeah, correct. Like Operation Valkyrie, and they tried to take him out as well and all that. Yeah, I'm sure there's always sensible people when things are chaotic. People who find reason.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going down to my last story. This one is I'm saving my best for my last.
Let's go for it.
Okay, this one is Dawn's Confession. I called it the Comfort Woman Spirit in Tanjung Katong Shop House. I grew up in Tanjung Katong area, and I grew up in Tanjung Katong area, and to walk back home, I would cut through the back alley of Tanjung Katong, some of the old houses. Most times, no issue. But every time around the month of April and May period, I get really uneasy. I lived there for many years, but never quite overcome the uneasiness. When I had my first face-to-face encounter, I was in my mid-20s and working there already. I was coming home late one night, the same way. But this time, I was surprised to hear a sobbing sound coming from the back alley area. When I looked around, I saw no one. Thinking it was just the cries of someone living in the shop house above, I minded my own business and kept walking. But it was as if I had walked into a different dimension. I saw a vibrant back alley, Japanese soldiers laughing, moving in and out of the houses. But despite such a joyful sight, I realized I was sobbing, the kind that you cry as if your father, mother, pet dog all died at the same time. I remember the feeling. I was aware of my actions and my feelings, but I felt like I was not in control. I was in the passenger seat of my own body, just being an observer. When I came back to my senses, I found that time had stopped in the real world. Not a minute had passed. On an intuitive level, I felt someone had died here. So I went home to call an army mate, who was somewhat of a channeler, a part-time medium, and a part-time collectible card game trader. My friend came with me the next day to get a sense of the place and confirmed that there was indeed a ghost of a comfort woman that was stuck in that spot. Apparently she had fallen from the second story trying to escape, or maybe she was pushed. We can't really tell for sure. But her spirit had been stuck there ever since. She was betrothed to a man, and the spirit was waiting for him to come rescue her. Her grief was very, very piercing. My friend did what he could to get her to cross over. Since then, she has not made any appearance, so maybe the ritual did work. And for me, I never knew that Tanjung Katong was once a site of Comfort Woman House.
Oh. Again, just the strong, very, very strong emotions that come across there. Wow.
I mean,
So
like
intense.
this Comfort Woman houses, we always talk about Japanese soldiers, Japanese victims, Sukchi massacre. We never really talk about the woman who suffered.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, like I remember reading somewhere recently as well, like how like a lot of historians actually like take issue with the term like comfort woman, because it kind of portrays it as a like almost like they had a choice in the matter, but so much so that it was actually not the case. Like a lot of them were like forced into the situation, and like it's like how when you want to like do revisionist history, then you realize that some of these terms that were used back then were didn't really portray accurately the situation back then. There were a lot of these like shop houses, I think, that sprung up in different parts. So I know the Tanjung Katong one was one. I've heard of ones nearer to the cafe building. So I know the old cafe building used to be so if I remember correctly, used to be a communications.
Kete!
The cafe.
The Kete.
Building.
Yes.
Yeah, used to be a communications like propaganda building the Japanese used. That near there as well, there were these kind of places that sprung up.
Isn't it YMCA, the Kapitai headquarters, and around the area there were Cane Hill. Cane Hill is a known comfort woman house.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's where the like a strong concentration of the Japanese, especially the ones of the higher ranks, and things like that. So I think these were some of the places where these unfortunate women were forced to do the things they had to. And I mean, if you ask me, I think the women who worked there were probably some of the ones that suffered the most. And it's no surprise that there are like stories about this around as well, and especially like this entity is so strong that she could kind of project the person into the story and into the what she was seeing and things like that.
But only in April and May, so maybe that's the time she died. That's when it's strongest, the portal is strongest.
Yeah, possibly.
She that's the moment where she just shouts, the energy of her memory just encompasses the whole area and person walks past that back alley, falls into this just for a moment, and time flows very different in that space and in real world.
Yep.
Wow, this is going to be a good MediaCorp show, man. Like what Samuel Yen said, that could be one of the subplots for the Little Ponty. MediaCorp, are you listening? Eugene Tay is available for consultancy on this one. Crystal Ang is saying, Friday night should end at 12:30. Alamak, darling. Tomorrow I got to cycle from 2 a.m., 2 p.m. to from Kallang to Changi.
So the funny thing is, whenever I'm a watcher, I always want it to go on for as long as possible. But when you're hosting, very different.
I got to ask you how it feels like before you go. Gabby is saying, good evening. Can you prolong this FNL for more random ghost story? Random ghost. You guys like this okay. Today's format was deliberately designed this way. Again, guys, I am filling the ground. I am trying, if you notice, whole of 2025, every time around FNL, this is the 7th episode. I try to do something different each time. Because I'm the truth is I am not feeling 100% with FNL. Like the last year, the year before, we've drawn around, I come in and the energy and the chemistry, it's smooth. It's this greased up engine that we all got used to. But now I'm trying, should we do this? Shall we do it this way? Shall we tweak it this way? And I know you guys are experimenting along with me, and I am very grateful for that. So today, if you realize, I did not go to the one-man screen and started to narrate, right? I actually had the conversation with Heyman, almost like two guys at a bar sharing a story. So let me know if this is the format that you find more comfortable. Do you prefer a time for confession will be strictly confession, and then we go back to another screen to dissect. Let me know what works for you guys. But Herman, as a audience, a fan, and now a host, which one do you feel is better?
Ooh,
for you, your own opinion. You don't have to speak for everyone, just yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I like this format a lot more. I think when you have to say goodbye to someone as monumental as John, and you kind of have to go back to the drawing board. I think the safest option is to always go back to the fundamentals, and I think Friday Night Live has always been about the stories, and it's always been about the people, and I think this kind of brings the both together really well. It's just stories from the heart, and people sharing their thoughts about it, people contributing their own stories as well. Yeah, I mean that's always been like the backbone of FNL, so it's you can't go wrong with that.
Hey, you guys want us to carry on? You know what? Make us carry on, because I want to see your confessions coming in. Text me. I go check my WhatsApp. If you guys text me and I got something to read, why the hell not? I would stay. Yeah. I would stay. It's always I always say confessions first. Oh Lord, I got so many texts coming in. Let me see. Did anyone text me and I missed it? So if you got Pakat, who is it? Oh, wow! This is totally unprecedented. I did not plan this, but shout out to Hellbank, fellow local content creator. They're doing Singapore's Forgotten World War II site tonight.
Oh wow!
The Secret of Lorong Sansui. No, we have not planned it. I have great respect for Hellbank. In fact, when John passed away, the Hellbank girls also left a condolence message. So it's always one of my aim and goal to bring the Hellbank girls on the show. I just haven't gone down to speak to them yet. So no, it was not planned.
Happy coincidence.
Who else say? Ronald also texted. Tonight, FNL reminded me of an experience I had near my parents' place at Telok Kurau. The old Telok Kurau Primary School, which I understand was a Sukching massacre or Sukching Inspection Center. Tell you more when we meet, because it's creepy at night. Walao, Ronald.
Oh no, come on. That is not the point of Friday Night Live.
He goes all the way, and I was like, I'll scroll down and read some more. It's too creepy to tell you at night.
It's like when you're reading a Straits Times article, and then it tells you have to
pay now to read more.
This man was getting interesting.
Okay. No confession coming in, guys. I'm so sorry. So, not likely to go 12:30.
Come on, guys! If you want it, you have to start sending them in.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot of stories you guys have.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, Japanese war related. Can be anything that you guys want us to share and talk about. So please feel free to use this time to send in stories.
I reading out the comments. What people are saying. Gabby, good evening. Oh yeah, Gabby, I read her post. Thank you very much, Gabby. Let me. She made a donation as well. Eurasian Wolf saying, I've subscribed and have been following your channel for the past 4 or 5 years. Ooh. But tonight is first time happen upon your night. Apa tu?
I think the first time they're joining the live stream.
Oh, okay. So follow the channel. First time joining live stream. Sincere condolences regarding passing of your friend John. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you. Vidya says, this is nice, Eugene. I like it, but old format is okay too. Okay, that's great. Seahawk says, no preference from me as long as it's good content. Can liao. I agree. Content is king.
King. Yep.
You know, I yesterday I met Edwin from United States, from Scary FM, another content creator from United States, purely podcast, great fella, Mexican living in Los Angeles, came all the way down to Singapore, met up with me. He didn't come all the way down to Singapore to meet up with me, but he came down to Singapore, and one of his itineraries was to meet up with me, and we met up and we started talking. And if you look at Scary FM, it is available on Spotify. Theirs is extremely well produced podcast. I'm talking like this is award-winning level quality, and their sound and they have a sound engineer, bro.
Wow.
So they got sound engineer, they got producer, they got editor, they got a whole team to produce one podcast. And the sound engineer was paid anywhere between 500 to 1,500 per episode.
Wow.
So can you imagine how much per episode costs? And because this is US, they have a lot of sponsors and everything.
Yep.
I was like, fuck me. Satu sponsor pun tak ada, don't have. You know, and I was looking at his quality, and I, you know, like my drool was like coming. I was like, when will I ever be able to produce such content, right? And I guess grass is greener on the other side. So Edwin was like, you know, bro, I love your rawness of your content, the way you would just film and you would be at a coffee shop or you'll be at outdoor, you know, and you just film people talking and they're just sharing and anything goes. And I go like, yeah, the truth is the only reason I film outdoor because I got no studio. But, you know, I understand that, you know, while the truth is I got no studio, so I film outdoor, but Supernatural Confessions have made a signature out of that limitation and turn what we lack into something that make it authentic. So seeing from the lens of how others see it, I go like, that is true, because you see a guy at a coffee shop drinking coffee and drinking, you know, it's like you are literally there listening to uncle sharing story. Yeah. So I'm now that I think about that, if and when I have $15,000 to blow on creating an episode, would I want to be super polished? You get what I mean?
Yep. I think the trade-off of that is you lose the rawness. You know, the really to the heart nature. No, not that, you know, if you have a big production, you're not authentic. But I think it's more of at the end of the day, people sharing these stories, right? It's a very deeply personal experience for most people. And when you put them in places that they're comfortable in, I think the connection happens more naturally. You know, when you have a kind of like a studio set, you don't really have that warmness. You don't really have that sense of comfort that, you know, they might experience when they're at a coffee shop or, you know, in the living room. You know, it's just that. And I think that's very important, especially when you're sharing these kind of encounters that can really hit close to home and things like that. Okay. Well, I'll keep that, guys. I'll thank you for the comments and the feedback. I'll keep that. I'll keep that authenticity for the future confession as long as I can. Michael Koo saying this is good format. It's nice that perhaps previous format was the John special. So cannot replace that, because the dissection, the deep diving, the breaking the confession apart and going into it, you know, both of us going vertical into it, and then sometimes surprising each other with nuances and law that we extract from around that confession. That can only happen when someone is in the driver's seat opposite me, having that depth of knowledge and having not just that, but you know what John brought to the table? His laughter.
So everything became enjoyable. It's not like I am a professional. Let me try to handle this to you in a very educated way, in a very academic way. No, it's not. It's just a
Yeah.
you know, straight up telling ghost story with laughter.
Yeah. Only he could do that.
Only he could do that. Alvin Ong says, I think it's okay. Got a partner, it's nice. He tried to ask public to call in, but many people for some reason became reluctant. So yeah, great job, Eugene. Okay, so what Alvin is saying is that at the start of this year, we had the call in feature. Remember
The
that?
number, yeah.
We had 2 episodes of the call in.
Yeah.
But it was not a popular choice.
In fact, no, I thought it was a very, very cool idea, like for people to kind of call in and chat. It's like some radio programs that have that as well. Then we can call it in. And,
I remember the callers were great, but I think the quality sometimes like drop calls, then it was very random. So we couldn't control the randomness of it and the tech of it, so it was very tough.
Yeah, I think it's always the limitation of when you're kind of doing things live, right? You never know what to expect. People call. I mean, definitely we don't have like prank callers and stuff.
No, because no, that I got to thank Team O for that, because Team O was behind the scenes. He's the one who pick up the call and he would vet and he would filter. Then he would pass it on to me. Props to Tim for doing that. You know,
shout out to Tim.
I mean, he's a professional radio DJ. He doesn't have to do that. He didn't have to do any of this, and he wasn't paid to do that. But for the love of the community, love of the topic, there was no arrogance or I'm too high a professional to be doing this. And I think because of that humility that we all share, the host, the co-host, the guest, myself, and everyone in the community, that's why this SC community is so fucking tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No fucking egos at all.
I mean, now when I hear Timo on the radio, it's this sounds like supernatural.
Yeah. Definitely saying random when there's that much fodder on the topic. So stories just like how we just back and forth. They like that. Some people say they like to see new faces. Oops. I think I just jump. I lost a lot. Okay. I'm Asian. Okay, people talking about banana. Okay, I guess it's not part of the feedback anymore. Okay, I guess now we should come to the final story, which is Heyman's personal experience that he kept the whole time without telling us. 5 years he's watching us, but he never once shared this story. Heyman, your mic just went mute. Can't hear you at all. Nope. Oh no, you might have to refresh your browser. Let me try to reconnect your mic.
Is it better?
Yes. What happened?
I think my accidentally yanked the cable from my mic.
Excited.
Not used to having one in front of me.
Excited, huh?
Too excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heyman, guest host for Friday Night Live today, 11 April. This is the World War II episode, Ghosts of Our Past. Hit us with it, Heyman. Wait.
So,
let me give you your own personal screen.
Oh, thank you. It's a great honor.
Okay, wait. I just make it sweet for you.
I just want to say it's always very more exciting sharing your own story than sometimes recounting other stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. All yours.
All right.
The screen is all yours.
All right. I look huge, but okay. So this story, something that's very something that kind of changed the way I see the world. Something till today I can't explain what happened, but I'm more than happy to hear from all of you about it. We can talk about it after this. So this happened quite a number of years ago when I was studying JC. Had a friend who had a birthday party at the Bukit Batok home team NS Chalet. So this place, some of my classmates and I were there. And I think some of them, there was alcohol and also everybody was a bit drunk, you know. And there was this kind of park that's at the back of the chalet, right? And it's like a trail. So we decided to, there's a group of us, like 10 of us, go on this trail. making a lot of noise, being very obnoxious and stuff like that. And then the trail kind of suddenly stopped at this point where there was no more lights, so it was just like pitch black beyond this certain point. And we had a friend in the group who had a third eye, and she kind of just like signaled to us and said like, "Hey, I see there's like this old man who was squatting at the edge of the just right before it becomes pitch black, right? There's this old man that's just squatting over there, and he's like staring at us. So I think we should go." So some of us were like, but most of us were like, okay, I mean, it's creepy enough, so let's go. So we decided to leave, and after we left, head back to chalet. The friend who could see the old man, she kept kind of staring into the distance, and kept suggesting that we should leave, call it a night, and stuff like that. So eventually we left. A group of us, we left, and as we were walking towards the bus stop and things like that, she got really agitated and she started like screaming like, "You stay there, you stay the fuck there, stay there." Sorry for the cussing, but she was just very agitated, very emotional, and all of us were like, "Oh, what's happening?" And I remember like her face got really red and she was like crying, and then she was just shouting at this thing to stay there. And then we were just like, okay, maybe she's a bit drunk. Let's try to get home as soon as we can. So this is where it gets a bit intense. So we boarded the bus back to Jurong East to change trains to the Green Line and things like that. So at this platform, right, the platform where you are waiting to change trains, the friend who could see that old man just like froze. She froze and then she started tearing up. And then we were like, "Oh, what's happening? Faster, let's just get on the train." And then she's like, "Guys, I can't move. The uncle is holding on to me. I really cannot move." So she was just like rooted to the spot, 2 feet just planted on the ground. So we were like, "Oh, what do you mean uncle's holding on to you?" So I remember, and she was very petite, right? So I remember I tried pulling her, and I'm bigger than her, right? So I tried pulling her, and she didn't move an inch. Like as if she was like nailed to the spot. And it didn't make sense because, how can you explain that, right? So I pulled her, and then some of the friends were pushing her, and she was just rooted to the spot. Like, not even like a budge or anything like that. She was just rooted to the spot. And she was like tearing up, getting really, really emotional, like, "Oh, the uncle's not letting me go." And all of us were like freaking out, like, what do you do? So we all just started like praying, just saying, "Sorry to the uncle, sorry we offended you. Can you please let us go? We promise not to disturb you anymore." And we all prayed for like I think a minute. And then just like that, she kind of just like took a step forward, like just like jolted forward. And then we just like didn't say anything to each other, we just ran to the train that came, and then we just left. And then according to her, she kind of looked back and then she saw the uncle just go back to the side of the platform and just continue kneeling there. And till today, I can still remember like how there were 3 or 4 people trying to move this one girl, but she was just rooted to the spot. Like it just blew my mind, like how that was possible. And I told myself like I would never want to go back to the home team NS there at Bukit Batok, because I mean until today like it still scares me. I think this happened like a good like 10 years ago, and it still like freaks me out to today. Like just thinking about how she almost got stuck there. Yeah.
So she cannot move. Like you guys just pushed her, but
yeah. So I remember I was holding on to her. I held on to her arm. Another 2 friends were pushing her from the back. Another friend was pulling her other arm. And I remember if I pulled any harder, right? If I pulled any harder, it probably dislocated her shoulder. Like I was pulling like with as much like possibly without hurting her, but she couldn't move. Like her feet didn't even like nudge a bit. Like it's not as if she was resisting us.
Yeah.
I just couldn't explain it. Then we just look at each other like, "Oh, what's happening?"
Props to you guys for not leaving her there, just running away.
I know, right? Yeah, it was just very. I mean, especially when you're young and then you cannot just comprehend what just happened. Like how is this possible?
So do you guys revisit that again when you meet up as a group? Like talk about that incident?
Actually, no. Like surprisingly, I think a lot of my friends, some of them just said like, "Oh, it was imagination." It's. They kind of try not to acknowledge what happened, or we try not to talk about it, because I think it freaked a lot of us out to a very bad degree.
I can buy the imagination story
Yeah.
if it's not a physical
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. So like whenever I hear like confessions coming in, last time we used to do like dissections, like it must be the EMF and all. So I always wonder like, can the EMF root someone to the ground?
String.
Strings, yeah. Scotch tape, string, blue tack. I mean, it was such a like a moment that just like leaves you like a kind of time still moment, like 5 people or 6 people trying to move this one person,
Yeah.
absolutely rooted to the ground. Yeah.
Fucking.
So and I never wanted to encounter the uncle again. So I just told myself, nope. I hope he doesn't bear grudges, but I'm not gonna show myself there again.
Bukit Batok lah.
Bukit Batok home team. Yeah. I mean, if anyone's been there, I can say for sure that the place behind the chalet, the little like foresty area, definitely spooky things going on there.
Okay, just now we mentioned about Seremban, right? I mentioned Seremban and I mentioned Scout Camp. So Alsatian Adrian Chua, also another patron of ours, he's a scout leader. So he gave me a comment about Seremban. The Seremban Scout had a story of a scout. The Seremban Scout Camp had a story about a scout who went to one of the field toilet. The sink is at the outside with mirrors. After washing his face and looking into the mirror, he saw Miss P. That night, high fever and was sent back home. Now that particular field toilet has no mirrors on this outside. That's urban legend. But that is one of the many, many urban legends about Seremban area having not just one Miss P, but a whole army of Miss P there.
Yeah, wow.
So Japanese landing on Seremban, coming in, first thing that they had to fight were the Miss P's. Correct.
Miss P contingent.
Yes. No one talks about that version of history. They talk about the death. Sure, there's a lot of killing.
Yeah.
But Japanese saying they saw yokai when they landed on Singapore. I don't know how many of you have heard it before, but if this is the first time, that's what Supernatural Confessions does. We bring you historical info mixed with urban legends. And around somewhere in the middle, you find your truth.
Somewhere in the middle is the Bukit Batok monkey man. That's the middle for that. Actually, I have another story. I mean,
okay,
camps,
good. Yeah.
This is so this one happened when I was in NS.
Okay.
And I think a lot of guys would relate to this one. So I think there was this a few times when we were doing the morning duties. You have to clean up the bunk and stuff like that. We always used to find long hair, right? Long strands of hair. And quite a bit of it around the room. I was wondering, like, hey, whose hair is this? Everybody's botak here. What doesn't make sense, right? And there were no women on the floor, so it didn't make sense to have hair coming in. So we could never figure out where it was coming from. So until I think one of the weeks, we happened to be just like talking, and stuff like that. And then one of the quieter guys in the bunk just giggled when we were talking about this. Then we asked him, hey, why are you laughing? Something, is it? Then he said that every night his sister would come and visit him in the bunk. And I think his sister used to or suffered from cancer. So she was going through chemo and she always lost her hair. So he said that whenever she came to visit him, right, the hair would drop.
Oh.
And the thing is, he said it in such a matter-of-fact way. He wasn't like trying to like embellish the story or trying to say that it's haunted. Or it's just like he had this very like serene look. It's just like, yeah, it's my sister. She just comes to visit me and she talks to me. And then I think when she's here, like her hair would drop and stuff like that. And then all of us heard it and we were just like, it's heartbreaking, very very heartbreaking. At the same time, we were like, okay, we didn't say a word after that. And then we kind of just stopped talking about it. So the long hair continued to be there, and we just swept it up quietly. We didn't say anything.
I always wondered if you could just take a strand of that hair and go and find a DNA check and then like match it to the sister, like
Yeah, like how would it would it be true, right?
Yeah.
But I think but he believes, like you could tell, like he really believes that like what he was seeing was his sister, and yeah.
Oof. All right. Wah, keras.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
I got a bad joke. I got a dad joke for you.
Go ahead.
We know why you cannot move your friend. Because she had 1 ton me. So she weighs 1 ton.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
You're too kind.
Yeah, of course. If not, I don't get to come back here.
It's like the slow clap. The,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh boy.
Anything you say, man.
I know some of the fans are asking for old MediaCorp stories. I think I got some. I just want to find, I got to bring Tim back for this one, or someone who works in MediaCorp, because I had a few experiences there myself. Back when I was a young actor, superstar, no, like extra young talent, and then also when we went back after they closed, and also speaking to the people there, I think we covered the old MediaCorp story during Team O's time back in COVID days.
Yeah, I think there was an episode, the one about the room where they stored the
CD,
props,
the studio, yes,
CDs.
yeah. And then we talk about the lady, the headless one walking around.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we have more stuff, but let me pull out. I get Michael Koo, Mary Mike to help me pull out stories from MediaCorp days. Even if we have covered before, what I could do is maybe do like a best of story, like take up. I mean, we have 10 years of content, 10 full years of content, Heyman. No, I think at one point of time we want to have like a throwback, like look back at all the old stories again.
Those stories, yeah, it'd be nice. I still remember we had that segment about the like confession of the week or confession of the month. The one story about the sleep paralysis, where this person experienced like a demon, and it was just like really scary story. Like I think it was like the confession of the
Is it
the month or
shh?
Yeah,
That one. Oh, I love that one. Malaysian Incidents says that he bought my beats and it really worked for him. Malaysian Incidents, let me know in the comment section what does it work for you. For those of you who's wondering what we're talking about, this is the Blessed Beats. It's made up of seeds. It's all organic seeds, and the white part is actually from the root of the Bodhi tree. This is a natural organic cleansing for negative energy, as well as cleansing, more importantly, of toxic people in our lives. On top of that, what I'll do when you purchase this, we customize the beads, the number of beads to fit your wrist. So no matter how big or skinny your wrist is, the beads will be made to measure for you. Let us know what's the size of your wrist, and if you would like me to enchant it or not. I'm able to imbue this with fire energy, love energy, and light energy. So I call it the love and light Supernatural Confessions bracelet. So if you like, it's actually right now available at SC Shop. You can go onto our YouTube channel, go to the SC Shop, click on this. It's $28.80, and I like what many of the people who have bought it say it works. So thank you very much for that feedback. I'm really happy it works for you. Yeah.
I kind of wonder what happens if you are the toxic person and you wear it. do you just like
Ipecah. The string burst, the seats all burst.
That's how you know.
Yeah, and I think I kind of know that this works as well, because obviously I feel before I sell anything, I try it out myself. I feel the difference, and then after a while, given enough time and the consistency of the energy is there. That's why I was able to talk about that. And I met a few masters in this last few months, and the comment has always been very encouraging. Your light is very bright. Yeah, so I guess it works, and I would love for you guys, as many of you, to have this as possible. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
it's worth more than $28. Thank you so much. You try, Yeah. Yeah. Any last confession is coming in? No. You have one last confession, bro? You said?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
Penat confession penat, right?
No, actually, like before I started, I was wondering, like, man, how am I gonna like do this for 1.5 hours? Like, do I have enough to talk about? And then I just like quickly took a look at time, and it's really 11:37. So don't know where the time went. Yeah, it's just so quick.
That's the thing about running FNL, because I'm the one usually looking out for time and everything to keep the pace of the show. And it seems that when you talk about it, 90 minutes is a very long time. But when you're running the show,
it's very fast.
You realize there's not a moment of pause or awkward silence, or that we have to try to, fill up the silence. No, and we are 8 minutes past our time already.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And I still don't feel like stopping, because it's having a lot of fun here.
So how do you feel before? How do you feel now that you have been in the hot seat? Like let people know your journey, because I've been doing this for so long. I kind of lost that virginity long ago. So I want to live vicariously through you. How does it feel?
It is. I think you feel a lot of responsibility when you're on this side of the camera. I think you want to make sure you keep the legacy going of John and all the other hosts that have come before, and of course Eugene. And you really want to just make sure like you're doing as good a job as possible for the community. I think it's different when you're watching, because being behind a screen kind of gives you a sense of like comfort. It's a bit more fun. So I think at the start I was a bit like, make sure I'll do this right, But then I think as the show kind of went on, I was quickly looking at the comments as well, and just talking to you. It just became a bit more casual, more fun. And then I just had to remind myself, I think at the end of the day, as I was saying, that's what Friday Night Live is about. Not so much the, conforming into like a script or anything like that. It's just two guys talking at a bar without alcohol.
Exactly. I'm on water these days. I used to drink a lot on the show, bro.
I know. I
To
remember
drink a lot.
the Draco Noah.
The Druncula days. Oh my God!
Days,
Some of you have been back since those era, the 2022, 20.
The throwback.
Whew. I was drinking like a fish. Every episode is one bottle. Okay, one bottle.
Yeah, it had a very different kind of glow back then. Before the beats.
Yeah. I was fat too. Oh man. All right. So, any of you guys, ladies and gentlemen of our community, thank you, Crystal. Not yet past their 40 minutes. She put money here, she means it, okay? She's not just asking to stay. Timothy Tan saying, Townsend, thank you for hosting. Any of you folks, really now is really a good time. No stress, no pressure. Clearly, I like to think that I make you guys feel comfortable when you come on the show. There's no pressure. We're not here to judge harshly. We're not here to compare. If you got a ghost story, this space is for you. You know what I mean? We just want you guys to have fun coming up here, share this. And if you're too shy or you don't have the equipment to host, send your confessions. That's the other way to do it. Some of you have said, going on that phone call thing is fun. I may bring that back, but I remember the first few times I have it, it's like, all right, guys, anyone wants to call in? Then we're like waiting around and like do. It's kind of awkward.
You have to get them to like agree beforehand. Like, okay, you have to call. Like, you have to sign up.
Yeah, like
even say you're calling
cue them up first, and like
cue them up. Yeah.
Like then we pretend it's like so random. I wonder who's going to call today. Oh my, that's caller number 1.
Yeah. That'll be the best.
Yeah.
No, but I want to just to touch on that as well. I think it might seem intimidating, especially if you're more the introverted side. But it is actually a very, very fun experience. And I highly recommend, like, whoever's watching, if you're sitting on the fence about it, if you wanna try and dip your toes into taking up the hot seat, I highly recommend you do it.
Wow.
It's a really fun experience, especially if you've been like a silent watcher for a very long time, and you want to try like switch it up. Just reach out to Eugene, and he's more than happy to have you on board.
Grace is listening in right now. Grace, I think we should start making special guest host merchandise. Not merchandise, sorry, like a memorabilia. Like whoever sits there gets this little token, as a proof of memory that they have done this. I think it'll be quite cool.
Yes. That'll be very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. limited edition merchandise.
Yeah. Sin is asking Discord channel. Quite frankly, today, Hannah Fia was trying to teach me how to use Discord. I'm still lost, so I don't know. If I have a Discord moderator, maybe I can consider that. And one other thing as well. So we are asking if you'd like to come down to be a guest host. The other thing that if you are keen and you have the time and you would like to be my curator of the Occult Museum, so you cannot be frightened of ghostly stuff, okay? Because there are haunted stuff in there. I am really sincerely looking for a museum curator of my occult museum. I saw the place today. I saw Stefan's house. We brought all the things there. There are books from Jonathan and artifacts and statues, and I don't know where to start. I don't quite know how to do this. So if some of you are more of the organizing type, very cross the T's, dot the I's, very good at admin, and you think you want to be the curator of the occult museum, please let me know. My number is 9459-4931. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Last words from Hamad before we say goodnight, and we'll see you guys next week. Not sure what topic, but back on Friday at 10 p.m. But for now, let's have some final words from Heyman. Any words of wisdom?
Yeah. Again, just a very big thank you, Eugene, for the opportunity. Thank you to all of you for staying up with us way past bedtime. So a bit over the time as well. So, and thank you for wanting us to continue till late as well. Really, I think as I was saying through the whole show, it's all about the people. I really hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I had hosting it together with Eugene. And whoever is thinking about it, please come forward. We always love to hear from more people. The more the merrier.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, for Camellia, who's a moderator on Discord, Angie was asking about possession of museum. The answer is no, you won't get possessed. Unlikely you'll get possessed. If you do get possessed, we got people on standby.
It comes in the insurance package, the employee insurance.
Sign off the waiver. No insurance. You are on your own. No. We'll take care of you. Right. So, my parting words is, well, this is Supernatural Confessions. My name is Eugene Tay, and you are not alone. We'll see you guys next week. Good night. God bless. Bye-bye, everyone.
So, bye. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.